All right, everyone. It's another beautiful day, and I'm excited to be coming your way on this amazing and wonderful morning. Um, I trust that you're doing well, and I trust that business is going on very good. Simon March is my name, a business branding coach and consultant, and it's always a pleasure and a delight to always come share thoughts that would help as you journey towards building a globally profitable and relevant brand. All right, I've come to just share some thoughts with you as as a business person. All right, it's no longer news. All right, for those of you who have been following Business Sense, it's no longer news that that I usually share thoughts with you or tips or nuggets that is helping you. All right, is helping you in your journey towards building a profitable global brand. So, um, recently, recently an event happened. For those of us in Nigeria, or for those of us who are even outside of Nigeria, it is no longer a news that another world record in the area of cooking happened. Our own chef, Nigerian chef, talking about Chef Hilda Baci, um, she broke another record, right, by cooking the biggest, right? She's holding the world record. This is her second record, talking about Guinness World Record. Is second attempt that she won, talking about cooking the biggest pot of jollof rice as it was, right? And to an extent, what I followed the whole context at some point as much as I could. But what do you of note, as one who is a student of life, I pay attention. I see beyond what is being displayed. I also try to probe to know more about the behind the scenes. Just like what she did prior to her first attempt, series of labor of work went down. All right, a lot of work went down towards the preparation, towards preparing for the attempt, right? And of course, a lot of mental work went in, a lot of planning went in, a lot of organizing went in. And this time around, she was able to get a headline sponsor, right, that really helped both financially and otherwise in her ability by helping her do this. And she was able to do it. So that is one. The truth of the matter is that success does not just happen by accident, right? It doesn't just happen by accident. It is something that is planned for. It is something that is worked for. You understand? What most people what most people saw or are seeing is someone cooking. But beyond the cooking is the organizing. Because for her to have put together these guys, or those of you who followed, you would notice that she had a lot of staff or a lot of team members on their uniforms. All right, also helping out with the cooking. Now, now I will talk about the second part, but let me just still on the behind the scene. You understand? So, of course, there's also on stage, and interestingly, still on the issue of preparation as a build up to the main event. There was she and her team created a portal through which people would register. All right. And based on the registration, according to the report, they got over 20,000 people who registered to be at the event. So as a result of that, they had to change venue. Now, if they hadn't planned for it, if there was no planning in place, that wouldn't have happened. And so planning is very important. You understand? Before you embark on anything, you need to plan it very, very well. Understand? Because what most people don't know is that performance is just some performance is just a day or two max, but it may take you years to prepare for it. All right, because beyond just your own personal preparation, you have to also prepare the people that if it's going to involve a team, you have to also prepare them. All right, you have to master your everything. You understand? Imagine the construction of the port that went down. Imagine a port that is of that size that crane would have to carry. That takes a lot of planning and a lot of work. You understand? You have to ensure that happens. Then to cook that magnitude of food requires a lot. You understand? So that is that for the behind the scene. And for if you're a business person, it is something you need to pay attention to. You understand? Before every performance, always remember there is a preparation that needs to be made. Now, I also paid attention to people's comments. You understand? And interestingly, a lot of people criticized her for some things. They criticized her for some things. A lot of criticisms also went down. Some alleged that she didn't wash the rice before cooking it. But interestingly, because she had prepared and had anticipated critics, they had to do like a short clips and also pictures of when they were washing the rice. They washed the rice and rebagged them. You understand? So I want you to note that critics will always talk. Critics will always talk, especially with the democratization of social media. People always talk. Some people, even from the parks, you could tell that they didn't go. They just want to catch cruise. They are claiming that though the food isn't sweet and isn't this, isn't that. One thing critics don't know is that you that is doing what you're doing, you have an objective in mind. And you that is doing what you're doing, you have certain rules that you're playing by, especially if you're going to do an attempt. You understand? If you're going to do an attempt, you understand, at breaking the record, you already knew what the rules of engagement or the rules of operation is, or what the rules of engagements are. And so you want to do whatever it is you're doing, you want to ensure you play by those rules, so you don't get disqualified. And thankfully, congratulations to her. She, they confirmed that she did well. All right, they were able to wait. All right, they had to weigh it, and they also had to give their verdict, which was positive. And as it stands, she holds that record. All right, for the second time, she's holding the Guinness World Record. All right, which is something commendable. So, to message to critics, instead of criticizing people, why don't you make attempt at breaking certain records at your level, right? Breaking certain records at your level. And also, to your approach as a business person, I want you to note that as you journey in business, you're going to face all kinds of criticism. And so, there are certain criticism that would come that is sponsored by your competitors. Just to make you lose focus. But you shouldn't pay attention to them. All right, critics will always talk. People are entitled to their opinions, and whether or not you like it, they are going to talk, right? But you just have to do what you've got to do. You understand? Because whether you accept it or not, people are going to talk. You understand? People are going to say all kinds of things about you. People are going to say all kinds of things about what you do. Some people, they are going to say them out of envy, because they'll be like, why is it you? A lady for that matter, why is it you? Is it always you? He understands. Because some would also criticize you due to their inferiority complex that they have, or some would even criticize you because of course, they know that they can't, they may never attempt that. Nobody, all right, we would attempt that in their generation. And so they feel jealousy. You feel jealous, and they may want to criticize you on the basis of that. But at the same time, too, there are some critics that are genuine. All right, their concerns are genuine. So what this means is that your approach to criticism is very, very important. Uh, don't approach critics or feedbacks with a dismissal kind of approach. Instead, read between the lines. All right, you need to decipher. You need to you need to approach it with discretion, meaning that when criticism comes, when feedbacks are given, look at them on the basis of their merit and ask yourself, these things that these people are saying, are there things I can pick that will be able to help me do things better? You understand? Because I've come to realize that the business or the leader or the manager that is not open to criticism, that is always on the defensive, may never improve upon what they're doing. Sometimes the concerns, if you pay attention and if you are open-minded, some of these concerns may be something that would give you a clue as to what to do moving forward. But until you pay attention, until you approach it with an open mind, you may not be able to find value in the things that they are saying. And that is why it's important that you also pay attention to all of these things. But on the overall, don't let anything get at you. All right? Don't let it get at you. You understand? You need to sieve. You need to look carefully and see whether the things they are saying, whether it makes any sense or not. If it does not make any sense, discard it. If it makes any sense, take it. If there are concerns that you need to respond to, it's important that you respond to them and not just keep quiet. Because keeping quiet would mean admitting or accepting that what they are saying is correct, whereas it's not correct. If you need to put the record straight, please put the record straight. That is why it's important as part of your approach, as part of your response process. It's important for you to document your process, just like she did. All right, she documented her process at every point, and that is why when people started accusing her of not washing the rice, they quickly responded by showing clips of her doing the washing. You understand? So you need to document your process, because you never know when you're going to need it. You could need it for your campaigns. You could need it for your defense. All right. You could need it for several other reasons, of several other things. You need to document your process. All right. So it's very, very, very important, because in as much as there are healers, there are also willers. In as much as there are people who are cheering you up to the high heavens, there are people within them that are not happy that you're doing what you're doing. And so they may want to look for any avenue to discredit your efforts. You understand? But your ability to be able to anticipate all of these things and prepare beforehand, it would give you an edge over them. So I trust that with these few things I've shared with you, I trust that you'll be able to do this thing. But know that criticism will come. No matter how much people love you, at some point or the other, they may criticize you for one thing or the other. It could be due to even misunderstanding. All right. It could be due to some fault on your part. You understand? But your ability to be able to anticipate all of these things and prepare for them, you understand, and approach them with the right kind of approach, would help you navigate through all of the storms, all of the issues, and even come out a better business and a better brand. So thank you very much. I trust that you learned something from this. Samuel Mati is my name. I'm your show partner when it comes to helping you build a globally profitable and relevant brand as a business coach and as well as a consultant. Keep doing business, keep making profit, and most importantly, keep living the limitless life. God bless you.